Okay, I've been working these blanks down a little bit. I've got them pinned to each other, and I've gotten a lot of the excess off the edges, which I don't really worry about any further until I get it on the knife and I work it all down together. But the ends are what I'm concerned with. So I've got them worked down to where they are flush with each other, and now I just have to put a bevel on this front edge so it can just bevel forward, and I just do that. Just made this little jig here with a magnetic base, clamps onto my tool rest, and I don't have to worry about tilting my tool rest. This just works fine. So I'm going to show you a little bit of that, and then I'll be moving the camera away from this dust. So let me get my dust mask on here. Alright. So I'm just going to step, wait a minute. Okay, I'm going to step up in grit from this 80 all the way up to about 320, and at that point it'll be ready to put on the buffing wheel, and I'll just work this just up on my upper wheel till it's at that same stage, and then we can get these epoxied on. Alright, that is final polish on the ends of the scales, and I've got the back side looking the same. So now we're getting ready to epoxy these up. Alright, I'm just mixing up some epoxy. And this is just normal 5-ton epoxy. It's not the 5-minute variety. And this stuff has about an 18-hour cure time. So I want to mix these part A and part B together really well. And I always mix too much because I don't want to run out in mid-job here. And I had this up to 2000 grit finish, so I've got some paper over it to protect it from any scuff marks. And everything has been cleaned in lacquer thinner. The knife itself, the pins and the scales, and I've taken a diamond file and scored the contact area on both the scales and the knife itself. So I'm just going to get some epoxy on here. I'll take my first pin. I get it coated with epoxy. Pretty much all of it. And I'll get it started through, and I just turn it as I pass through, and then we'll get it in that first hole. And then I'll get another one in, and that'll help me locate that handle scale. Now I want to push it down pretty tightly, and then I'll apply light pressure with the little C-clamps that I'll put on there. But now I get this other side buttered up. I always fill these big holes here in the center with epoxy, so they help stick the two sides together. Now I'm going to push these pins up. Put the other scale on. Alright, now I'm just going to coat my pins, get them worked down through the holes, and we'll get this thing in clamps. And I can get the excess epoxy off the steel. Alright, so that's how it's going to stay for the next 18 hours. And then when you see this again, I'll have started working these sides down and getting this thing contoured, and then it's just about finished. Okay, we're moving right along on this got it out of the clamps, and I've gotten all the excess off of the knife, and I've got it down to clean metal all the way around. And now I've just struck lines to where the final thickness is going to be. And this knife, we don't have a lot of contour on this model. It's taking it down to that thickness. We're just kind of gently doming these handle scales just to make them comfortable. And then I dress these sharp corners down a little bit, and I do that just with hand files. And then we'll get it fine sanded and buffed, and the knife itself at that point will be done, short of putting an edge on it. We'll do that after we make the sheath. But I'll come back when I've got the knife to that point and we're ready to move into the leather room. Okay, the knife, with the exception of the cutting edge, is all finished. Took a couple hours to get it from out of the clamps to what you see here, and a lot of time spent on the rotary vise just doing little hand and detail work, but it's nice and polished up, and it is all but ready to use. The cutting edge I'll do last after I get done in the leather room making the sheath, but want to give you a look at that. So it is ready to go, and next video will be in the leather room making the cross draw sheath for this thing. So alright, Dillon, we're getting really close to the finish line on this one. I hope you like what you see, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks a lot, guys.